Hello and welcome to Miniatures Rundown. I'm Joshua. No Mitchell this week, he's on vacation. This Sunday, we've got this new starter sets and a couple new painting sets and a couple models from Leviathan that I personally did not see coming. First and foremost, though, a rules book. This is the shortest rule book for people who just want the rules in a slightly smaller format, specifically A5 format, which is about 8 inches by 6 inches. So if you're somebody who likes having the physical rules but doesn't like carrying around that giant core book with all the lore that frankly you don't need during a game, this might be for you. It does say this is only available from the Games Workshop web store while stocks last. So that tells me two things. One, not coming to your local friendly game store, sorry. And two, it's going to be a limited run. If you want it, grab it. Then we've got the 3 new starter sets for 40k. Much better named than last time. Last time it was Recruit, Elite, Command, which doesn't really clarify what level is what. These, I think, are much better. I think these are much better overall. First off, you've got the Introductory Set, which is, as it says, a super introductory set. This is, I don't know anything about Warhammer, but I want to play Warhammer. So you've got a single squad of Infernus, a single squad of Terminator, Rippers, enough paints to get a decent coat, dice, ruler, clippers, paintbrush, and a mat to play on, and a handbook. Pretty decent. It'll depend on price. The starter set drops all of the hobby supplies. So this is, I kind of know I already enjoy painting minis, so maybe I already have some of that stuff. Instead, it still has the Infernus, still has the Termagant squad, but it adds another Termagant squad, a Winged Tyranid Prime, the Psychophage, a unit of Von Ryan's Leapers, a Captain in Terminator armor? Yeah, it's a captain there. I thought it was a librarian, but nope, that's a captain. And a unit of Terminators. So, much better deal model-wise. This is also only 1 or 2 models short of the Combat Patrol, but we'll get to that. Last, and certainly not least, is the Ultimate Starter Set. Does not come with the hobby supplies. Doesn't actually add any models either, interestingly. Well, sorry, it does. It adds the little, what are they called? Barbgaunts. Adds little Barbgaunts there. But that's it. This is basically the 2 combat patrols for Space Marines and Tyranids in a box together with the terrain. This terrain was from the Nachmund set or the Frontera set. It's the Hab Bunker and the Stockades. It's not bad terrain. It's much more usable in this edition of 40k than it was in the last one. Depending on price, this might be an amazing deal because combat patrol boxes are usually $140, $150. If this is $250, that's still a pretty decent deal because you've got 2 $140 combat patrols and, $60 in terrain. Not a bad way to get started. Doesn't come with the Screamer Killer, doesn't come with the Ballistus Dreadnought like Leviathan, but overall, pretty decent. Speaking of Leviathan, we've got 2 of the model sets from Leviathan, but only 2 of them. The Librarian and Terminator armor. He's pretty decent in-game. Sustained hits, his own psychic powers, a 4-up feel no pain against psychic powers. And then the Barbgaunts, who are currently very, very good in the Tyranid Index. Indirect fire, slows things down, does a lot of damage for their points. I find it interesting that they released a hero for one faction and a squad for another faction, but if you're a Tyranids player, at least in the current index, Barbgaunts are very good. Now, the Codex is right on the horizon, so maybe don't go gangbusters on these. Speaking of starter sets, we've also got the requisite paint and tool sets. First off, the Infernus Marines. You get 3 Marines and a bunch of paints. Last edition, these were $45. I'm guessing they're going to be $50. On the Tyranid side, Termagants and the paints. These you don't buy if you want the models. You buy these if you want the models and some of the paints. They're decent paints. The new Corax White is much better than the old one. And then you get the paint and tool set, which takes both of those paint sets, put them together, subtracts the models, adds paintbrush, clippers, and a little keychain mold line remover, which is not bad. Their mold line remover is decent. It's just usually grossly overcosted. Then we move on to the Forge World offerings for this week. We've got 2. One is Decurion Lanius, Sons of Horus tank commander guy. These are both resin, both going to be on Forge World on Friday. Must be kind of hard to hold that banner and aim that heavy bolter, but he seems like he's doing a good job. For Blood Bowl, we've got Ripper Bolgrot, who is a troll it's kind of difficult to parse what the heck is going on with his mouth here. It kind of looked like at a glance he's just sticking his tongue out and doing the thing, but I'm not quite sure. Either way, great looking model, not necessarily my bag. And then we've got some Black Library stuff. So the Forge Rules stuff will go up for pre-order on Friday, as it usually does. Everything else will go up for pre-order next Saturday on GW's web store or your friendly local game store, except for the rules book, which will only be online, unfortunately. It's kind of a shame, because that's actually the thing I'm most excited about. A small form rules book that I can carry around and not have to lug that giant core book. This would take the place of that core book in my bag. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to be any cheaper than the core book, and it's going to be a very limited run, so I don't think I'm going to get one. Overall, the introductory sets I'm pretty hyped for. I don't know if I'm going to get any of them because there's still going to be those push-fit models without any options, and especially until the 2 codexes come out, I'm not particularly keen on buying into these armies until I see their new books and see what the rules actually are. But they're much better starter sets than last edition, if nothing else for the names. Let me know down below if you're excited for any of this, if I'm just a stick in the mud about the book. Until next week, I've been Joshua, and I'll see you next time.